Before the world asks anything from you. Before noise rises. Before opinions, expectations, and responsibilities arrive at your door. There is a quiet place inside you. A place many people forget as they grow older. A place of stillness, of clarity, of inner strength. This place is not far away. It's not hidden. It's not mysterious. It has always been there. You simply stop visiting it. Today, you return to it. This is not a lesson. It is a remembering. It is a gentle walk back to the calm you once knew, but abandoned somewhere along the way. Peace has always belonged to you. You just stop choosing it. Not everything in life deserves your energy. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Your energy is sacred. Your mind is sacred. Your inner world is sacred. Think of your energy like water in a bowl. If you keep pouring it into anger, into arguments, into explanations, you will have nothing left for the things that actually matter. Your growth. Your peace. Your purpose. So many people carry heavy emotional backpacks. Not because life is heavy, but because they pick up everything on the path. A rude comment. A careless tone. A disappointed look. A misunderstanding. A delay. A small inconvenience. Each one is a stone. Small, but heavy over time. This is why life feels exhausting. Not because the world is cruel, but because you are carrying stones that were never meant for you. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, gently, is this worth my peace? Is this worth my energy? Is this something I want to carry? You will find that most things do not survive this question. A story for you. A man once lived reacting to everything. Every criticism. Every rumor. Every disagreement. Every misunderstanding. His mind was always tense. His heart always tired. One day, he asked a monk, "Why is life so exhausting?" The monk filled a bowl with water. He stirred it hard. The water became cloudy. "Do you see clearly?" the monk asked. "No," the man said. The monk set the bowl down. They waited. Slowly, the water settled. Slowly, it became clear again. The monk said softly, "This is your mind. When you stop stirring, clarity returns on its own. This is the essence of calm. You do not need to fight every disturbance. You only need to stop feeding it. Being unbothered does not mean being cold. It does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you ignore people. It means you choose your peace over unnecessary battles. It means you choose clarity over chaos. It means you choose alignment over ego. You care deeply, but you care wisely. You feel fully, but you do not cling. You love sincerely, but you do not lose yourself. This is strength. This is maturity. This is freedom. When you know your path, you stop being pulled by everything on the side of the road. When you trust your values, you stop shrinking under the weight of opinions. When you understand who you are, you stop needing the world to confirm it. A ship with no direction is tossed by every wave. A ship with purpose cuts through storms with quiet confidence. This is who you become. When your peace comes from within. Another story. In a quiet monastery, there was a girl who took every word to heart. If someone whispered, she thought it was about her. If someone frowned, she felt guilty. If someone was distant, she felt unwanted. Her heart was a net that caught every passing leaf. One day, she sat with her teacher and said, "Master, people hurt me with their words." The master pointed to a tree losing its yellow leaves. "Can you stop these leaves from falling?" he asked. "No," she said. "Then why do you try to stop people from speaking as they speak?" Not every leaf is meant to be caught. She understood. Her suffering was not from what people said. Her suffering came from picking up everything they said. This is one of life's deepest truths. You will find peace the day you stop picking up every leaf. Your inner space is your sanctuary. You must guard it like something precious. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not every situation deserves a reaction. Not every comment deserves your energy. Your peace is a garden. Protect it. Select carefully who you allow to walk inside. And finally, the world does not need to change for you to be at peace. People do not need to treat you perfectly. Life does not need to become easier. Peace is not outside you. Peace is a skill inside you. You do not become unshakable because the world calms down. You become unshakable because you learn how to remain calm, even when the world stirs. And that journey continues in part 2. Part 2: The quiet power of internal validation. There is a kind of suffering that almost everyone carries. It doesn't come from pain. It doesn't come from loss. It doesn't come from failure. It comes from wanting to be seen, wanting to be approved, wanting to be understood, wanting to be accepted. We grow up believing that our worth is something others must confirm. A compliment lifts us. A criticism crushes us. A little praise makes us feel alive. A little disapproval makes us doubt ourselves. We become like leaves in the wind, blowing in every direction depending on what people think. But Buddhist wisdom offers a truth that can change your entire life. Your peace begins the moment you stop begging the world to approve you. You do not need permission to feel worthy. You do not need applause to feel enough. You do not need validation to walk your path. You only need to know yourself. When your worth depends on outside voices, your life becomes unstable. One good comment can fill you with confidence. One bad comment can break your spirit. You rise and fall with every opinion. You glow under praise and shrink under judgment. This is not living. This is performing. You become an actor in your own life, always adjusting your behavior to avoid disapproval, to avoid rejection, to avoid being misunderstood. You lose yourself in trying to be everything for everyone. But here is the truth. No matter how kind you are, no matter how honest you are, no matter how good your intentions are, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will judge you unfairly. Someone will dislike you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. You cannot control this. You were never meant to. Your only responsibility is to stay true to your own heart. A story for you. There was a young man who feared criticism. Whenever someone praised him, he felt proud. Whenever someone criticized him, he felt broken. His teacher gave him a simple task. Spend 1 week trying to win approval from everyone you meet. The young man tried. He smiled. He agreed with everything. He avoided every disagreement. He tried to please every person. At the end of the week, he returned exhausted. He said, "Master, no matter what I did, someone was always unhappy." The teacher nodded. "Good, now spend 1 week displeasing everyone." The man was shocked. But he tried. He refused every request. He disagreed with everyone. He acted rude, cold, and stubborn. At the end of the week, he returned again. He said, "Master, even when I tried to upset everyone, some people still liked me." The teacher said, "Now you understand. Whether you try to please people or try to upset them, people will decide for themselves. So you must live true to your own nature." The young man learned something precious. You are not responsible for how others see you. You are responsible for how you see yourself. So how do you begin building internal validation? You slow down. You reflect. You return to yourself. At the end of each day, ask gentle questions, not about others, but about your own heart. Did I act with integrity? Did I speak with kindness? Did I stay aligned with my values? Did I grow, even a little? If the answer is yes, then you have already succeeded. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You don't need anyone to say you did well. You know it inside. And that is enough. When you validate yourself from within, the world loses its power over you. Praise becomes pleasant, but it does not define you. Criticism becomes information, but it does not injure you. Rejection becomes redirection, not destruction. You no longer crumble at the smallest negative word. You no longer rise only when someone lifts you. You become grounded. You become steady. You become unshakable. This is not arrogance. This is self-knowledge. When the Buddha walked, he did not walk for applause. When he spoke, he did not speak for approval. When he taught, he did not teach for popularity. He lived in truth. And that truth was enough. Let your life be like that. Another story. A monk once carried a small mirror. Whenever someone praised him, he looked into it. Whenever someone criticized him, he looked into it. A visitor asked, "Why do you stare into the mirror every time someone speaks to you?" The monk replied, "I want to see whether their words changed me. If praise makes me proud, I have work to do. If criticism makes me shrink, I have work to do. My goal is to remain myself, even when the world speaks loudly." This is the heart of stability. This is inner freedom. You do not rise and fall with words. You remain yourself in every season. Internal validation is quiet. It does not boast. It does not shout. It does not seek attention. It is a steady glow. Not a bright flash. It is a strong root. Not a floating leaf. It is a calm ocean. Not a restless wave. When you begin to cultivate this inner foundation, you feel something powerful happen. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop trying to be understood by everyone. You stop measuring yourself by how people react to you. Instead, you become someone who lives with quiet confidence. Someone who knows their worth. Someone who walks gently, but firmly, in their own truth. And that truth becomes your anchor. This is the second step. In becoming emotionally untouchable. Not because life becomes easy, but because you finally build peace. That does not depend on outside voices. And now, we continue this journey in part 3. Part 3: Respond. Never react. Life will test you. Not once. Not twice. But again and again. Often when you least expect it. A rude comment. A sharp tone. A misunderstanding. A delay. A moment that seems small, but somehow touches a wound inside you. Most people react instantly. They snap. They defend. They explain. They push back. They let emotion take control. But reacting is not strength. Reacting is not clarity. Reacting is not wisdom. Reacting is simply the mind running without you. Buddhist wisdom teaches a truth that can change your entire inner world. Between what happens and how you respond, there is a space. A quiet space. A sacred space. A space where your power lives. Most suffering comes from losing that space. Most peace comes from returning to it. When something triggers you, your first feeling is not the problem. The problem is what you do next. Your reaction can pour gasoline on a small fire, or your response can let the flame die quietly. Your reaction can break your peace, or your response can protect it. Your reaction comes from ego. Your response comes from awareness. Your reaction is fast. Your response is deliberate. Your reaction is emotional. Your response is conscious. This difference is the difference between chaos and calm. A story for you. A monk once sat quietly when a man approached him with anger. The man insulted him, mocked him, provoked him, tried to pull him into conflict. But the monk stayed silent. The man said, "Why don't you defend yourself? Why don't you react? Are you afraid?" The monk replied, "If someone brings a gift, and you refuse to accept it, who does the gift belong to?" The man answered, "It stays with the giver." The monk smiled. "Exactly. Your anger is a gift I do not accept." This is the power of responding, not reacting. You cannot control what people offer you, but you can control what you accept. So how do you train yourself to respond instead of react? You begin with one breath. Just one. The moment you feel triggered. Before words rise to your tongue. Before emotion takes over. Before your mind throws you into the old pattern. Pause. A single breath creates space. Space creates clarity. Clarity creates wisdom. You are not trying to suppress your feelings. You are not trying to ignore them. You are simply giving yourself time to see the emotion, instead of becoming the emotion. I feel anger, but I am not anger. I feel hurt, but I am not this hurt. I feel fear, But I am more than this fear. When you talk to your feelings this way, they lose their power to control you. Imagine this for a moment. You are sitting beside a river. Leaves float by. Some are light. Some are dark. Some are beautiful. Some are rotten. Your emotions are those leaves. They pass through your awareness. But you don't jump into the river to chase them. You don't drown yourself in every feeling. You sit, you observe, and you let them pass. This is mindfulness. Not controlling emotions, but watching them until they no longer control you. Another story. A student asked his teacher, "Master, how do I control my anger?" The master said, "You don't control it. You understand it." The student asked, "How?" The master replied, "When a flame rises, you can burn your hands trying to grab it, or you can simply step back and let it burn itself out." The student understood. Anger burns quickly when you don't feed it. Fear softens quickly when you don't resist it. Hurt dissolves when you don't cling to it. You control your emotions by not letting them control your actions. Responding does not mean you stay silent. Responding does not mean you tolerate disrespect. Responding does not mean you become passive. Responding simply means you choose your action from calm, not chaos. You act from your values, not your wounds. You speak from truth, not from fear. You protect your dignity, not your ego. This is how you maintain your power. When you react, other people control you. When you respond, you control yourself. The difference is everything. And something magical happens. When you begin living this way, your life becomes lighter. Your heart becomes steadier. Your mind becomes clearer. Your communication becomes calmer. Your presence becomes stronger. People feel it. They respect it. They trust it. They sense something rare in you. Inner stability. When you respond instead of react, you rise above the noise. You stop being dragged by the moment. You become the one who leads the moment. This is emotional mastery. This is inner freedom. This is how you become unshakable. And now, we continue this journey in part 4. Part 4: Letting go of the need to be understood. One of the quietest sources of suffering is the desire to be understood. You want people to see your heart. You want them to know your intentions. You want them to understand your reasons. You want them to see your sincerity. You want them to hear your truth. And when they don't, when they misjudge you, when they twist your words, when they assume the worst, when they don't listen, when they don't care to understand, you feel pain. A deep kind of pain. A pain that touches something soft inside you. But Buddhism teaches a truth that frees your heart. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone is meant to. And that is okay. People see the world not as it is, but as they are. Through their wounds. Through their fears. Through their insecurities. Through their assumptions. Through their level of awareness. Even if you speak clearly, someone may misunderstand you. Even if you speak kindly, someone may take it wrongly. Even if your intentions are pure, someone may twist them. You cannot stop this. You cannot control this. You cannot fix every perception. You cannot manage every interpretation. And you are not meant to. Your peace cannot depend on how others understand you. Your peace must come from how well you understand yourself. A story for you. A monk once walked through a village. He smiled gently. He greeted everyone with kindness. Most people smiled back. But one man shouted insults at him. The monk continued walking, calm and unshaken. A young boy ran after him and asked, "Master, why didn't you explain yourself? Why didn't you defend your honor?" The monk said, "If someone tries to hand you a burning coal, why would you take it with your bare hands?" The boy asked, "But he misunderstood you." The monk replied, "His misunderstanding is his coal. If I grab it, the pain becomes mine." This is the wisdom of letting go. You don't need to hold what is not yours. You don't need to explain yourself to someone who doesn't want clarity. You don't need to defend your heart to someone who isn't listening. Your peace is more valuable than being right in someone else's mind. You must understand this. Some people misunderstand you because they are not ready to see clearly. Some misunderstand you because clarity would force them to reflect. Some misunderstand you because misunderstanding you protects their ego. Some misunderstand you without even realizing it. Some misunderstand you because that is where their awareness currently is. And some will misunderstand you no matter what you say. Their perception is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is your inner clarity, your dignity, your alignment, your peace. Another story. A teacher gave his students a jar of clear water. He dropped a small amount of ink inside. The water turned cloudy. He said, "This is what happens when you try to force understanding from someone who is not ready." Then he poured the cloudy water into a larger jar. The ink spread out, and the water became clear again. He said, "This is what happens when you expand your awareness. Confusion settles. Clarity returns." The lesson is simple. Your peace depends on your perspective, not their perception. Letting go of the need to be understood does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become distant. It does not mean you shut your heart. It means you stop fighting battles that were never yours. It means you stop trying to translate your soul for someone who reads with closed eyes. It means you stop offering explanations to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. It means you stop bending yourself to fit a story someone else wrote. It means you trust your truth, even when others cannot see it. This is not coldness. This is wisdom. So how do you let go of the need to be understood? You remind yourself gently, "I know my heart. I know my intentions. I know my path. I know my truth." And that is enough. You don't need every person to understand your journey. It is not theirs to understand. The right people will feel you without explanation. The right people will see your heart without proof. The right people will not need a long story to recognize your sincerity. And the people who refuse to understand you would not believe your explanation anyway. So free yourself. Stop chasing understanding. Stop trying to fix perception. Stop trying to make everyone see you accurately. Let your actions speak. Let your energy speak. Let your presence speak. Let your truth speak. You don't need to explain what your soul already knows. When you let go of this need, you feel something beautiful happen. Your heart becomes lighter. Your mind becomes calmer. Your days become softer. Your self-confidence grows quietly. Your inner strength becomes steady. Your peace becomes deeper. Because finally, you are no longer imprisoned by the eyes of others. You live for truth, not approval. For alignment, not acceptance. For clarity, not validation. This is freedom. This is maturity. This is wisdom. And now, we continue this journey in Part 5. Part 5: The Art of Emotional Detachment. You are human. You will feel. You will hurt. You will love. You will fear. You will hope. You will break. You will heal. Emotions are natural. They are part of being alive. They are part of being open. They are part of caring. But Buddhist wisdom teaches something deeper. Feel everything, but don't become everything you feel. Emotional detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean apathy. It does not mean shutting down. It means you learn to observe your emotions without letting them swallow you. It means you learn to stand at the center of your inner world without being pulled by every passing wave. It is not coldness. It is mastery. Imagine your emotions as a flowing river. Some days the water is calm. Some days it rushes wild. Some days it carries leaves. Other days it carries storms. But you are not the river. You are the one standing on the bank, watching. You feel the pull. You feel the movement. You feel the waves. But you do not jump in and lose yourself in every current. This is emotional detachment. A gentle space between your feeling and your action. A soft breath between your emotion and your identity. A quiet pause between "this is happening" and "this is who I am." A story for you. A man came to a monk, trembling with anger. "My heart is burning," he said. "I am full of rage. How do I get rid of it?" The monk handed him a cup of hot tea. "Hold this," he said. The tea was too hot. The man kept shifting it from hand to hand, trying not to spill it. The monk asked, "How does it feel?" "It burns," the man said. "It hurts." The monk nodded. "Now put it down." The man placed the cup on the table. The burning stopped. The monk said, "Your anger is like the cup. You feel pain not because anger exists, but because you hold it too tightly." Detachment is the art of putting the cup down. Not denying its heat. Not pretending it didn't burn. Not fighting the feeling. Simply choosing not to cling. Your emotions are temporary visitors. They are not your permanent identity. Sadness comes. Sadness goes. Anger rises. Anger falls. Fear appears. Fear dissolves. Joy blooms. Joy fades. Peace expands. Peace contracts. Everything moves. Everything changes. Everything passes. Suffering happens when you cling to what is meant to move, or resist what is meant to flow. You do not need to stop emotions. You only need to stop attaching yourself to them. Another story. A monk taught his students to label their emotions. When sadness came, he would say, "This is sadness." When anger rose, "This is anger." When fear appeared, "This is fear." When anxiety surfaced, "This is anxiety." One student asked, "Master, why do you name them?" The monk said, "When you name something, you create space between you and it. The space gives you power. You watch the wave, instead of drowning in it. This is why Buddhist meditation often begins with simple awareness. Not analysis. Not resistance. Not control. Just noticing. Just seeing. Just breathing. Just observing. Emotional detachment is especially powerful in relationships. People you love may disappoint you. People you trust may misunderstand you. People you care for may ignore your feelings. People you support may take you for granted. If you cling tightly to every emotional shift inside these relationships, your heart becomes a battlefield. Detachment allows you to care without losing yourself, to love without breaking your boundaries, to give without draining your soul, to let go without collapsing. It is the middle path. Not too tight, not too loose. A calm, steady, gentle closeness. Here is what detachment truly means. You feel emotion, but emotion does not control you. You experience pain, but pain does not define you. You notice anger, but anger does not speak for you. You feel fear, but fear does not choose for you. You remain aware of what is happening inside you, but you do not disappear inside it. This is presence. This is clarity. This is strength. And something beautiful happens as you develop emotional detachment. A quiet inner space opens. A space where thoughts soften. A space where feelings lose their sharpness. A space where your breath becomes slow and steady. A space where you remember who you are beneath all the noise. It is a space where peace returns. Not because life becomes easier, but because you stop gripping life so tightly. This space is your sanctuary. The more you visit it, the stronger it becomes. The stronger it becomes, the less anything can shake you. This is how emotional storms turn into emotional weather. Passing, moving, changing, but not defining. This is the fifth step in becoming unbothered. Not by avoiding emotions, but by mastering them with awareness and gentleness. And now, we continue this journey in Part 6. Part 6: Your peace is your responsibility. There is a lesson many people learn late in life. A lesson simple, but powerful. A lesson that changes everything. Your peace is your responsibility. Not your family's. Not your partner's. Not your friends'. Not your circumstances. Not the world's. Yours. For most of life, we believe the opposite. We think we will feel peaceful when people treat us kindly, when situations go as planned, when no one upsets us, when life behaves the way we want. But this belief hands your inner world to things you cannot control. It makes your peace fragile, weak, dependent, easily stolen. Buddhist wisdom turns this belief upside down. Peace is not something you wait for. Peace is something you create. Moment by moment, thought by thought, breath by breath. Think about this. If your peace depends on someone else's behavior, you will always be disappointed. People change. People struggle. People act from their own wounds. If your peace depends on circumstances, you will always be anxious. The world is unpredictable. Life moves in waves. Weather changes. Seasons shift. But if your peace depends on your awareness, on your choices, on your responses, then nothing outside you can take it away. This is inner freedom. This is emotional maturity. This is spiritual adulthood. A story for you. A monk once said, "I cannot control the wind, but I can adjust my sails." This is the essence of responsibility. Not controlling life, but meeting life with the right mind. When the wind is strong, you adjust. When the water is rough, you stabilize. When the sky darkens, you become watchful. When the storm comes, you anchor deeper. You do not blame the wind for being wind. You learn how to navigate it with grace. This is what it means to take responsibility for your peace. So how do you begin? You start each day with intention, not with your phone, not with noise, not with other people's opinions, not with scrolling, comparing, reacting, but with silence. Even 5 minutes of breathing, sitting, listening inward can change the direction of your day. Begin your morning with a quiet promise. I will not give away my peace today. I will not allow small things to disturb my center. I will meet life with calm. I will respond with clarity. I will stay grounded. Let this become your anchor, your compass, your quiet vow. Next, guard your inner space. Just as you would never allow trash to be thrown into your home, do not allow negativity to be thrown into your mind. Protect yourself from unnecessary arguments, endless drama, bad news cycles, toxic conversations, people who drain your energy, people who manipulate your emotions, people who refuse to respect your boundaries. This is not running away. This is wisdom. You are simply choosing what is worth entering your inner garden. Not every energy deserves your doorway. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every invitation deserves your presence. To protect your peace is an act of self-respect. And then, you take full responsibility for your emotional reactions. When you feel upset, pause. When you feel anger rise, breathe. When hurt appears, observe. When fear surfaces, stay present. Before blaming anyone, before accusing, before reacting, ask yourself gently, what is this emotion showing me? Where is this coming from? What part of me feels threatened, or unhealed, or unseen? This is true responsibility. Not self-blame, but self-awareness. Not shaming yourself, but understanding yourself. Because the moment you stop blaming others for your inner state, you take back the power to change it. Another story. A student asked a master, "Why do people disturb my peace?" The master handed him a cup of water, filled to the top. He said, "Walk across the room with this cup." Without spilling a drop, the student walked carefully. His eyes stayed on the cup. His attention stayed focused. When he reached the other side, the master asked, "Did you notice the people around you?" The student said, "No. I was too focused on the water." The master replied, "When you protect your peace, the way you protected that water, you will stop noticing the small disturbances around you. This is the path. This is the practice. This is discipline." Even the Buddha faced chaos, faced insults, faced accusations, faced betrayal, but he remained centered. Not because life was calm, but because he was calm. His peace was not borrowed from the world. It was built inside him. Brick by brick, breath by breath, moment by moment. This is how you build your peace too. Not in a single day. Not in a single meditation. Not in a single decision. But through steady inner work. Through returning to yourself. Again and again. Especially when life tries to pull you away. And here is the most beautiful part. When you begin to hold your own peace, your presence becomes healing. People feel safer around you. Your calm becomes contagious. Your steadiness becomes a quiet light. Your energy becomes a place of rest. For people who spend their days in noise, peace spreads. Peace inspires. Peace softens. Peace transforms. But it begins with you. It begins inside you. It begins with the simple choice. I am responsible for my inner world. This is the sixth step. In becoming unbothered. In building a peace that no one can take away. And now, we continue this journey. In Part 7. Part 7, the bigger picture. There is a moment in every person's life when the world feels small. When one comment ruins your day. When one misunderstanding feels heavy. When one situation pulls you into overthinking. When one disappointment becomes the center of your mind. In those moments, it is easy to believe that what you feel right now is all that exists. But Buddhist wisdom offers a doorway. A way out of the narrow moment. And back into truth. The doorway is simple. See the bigger picture. Because what feels overwhelming today is often small when seen from a higher view. And the moment you rise, your heart softens. Your breath deepens. Your mind calms. Your inner storms lose their power. Most suffering comes from looking too closely at one moment. You stare at a single difficulty until it becomes the whole world. You stare at one emotion until it becomes your identity. You stare at one problem until it becomes permanent in your mind. But when you step back, even a little, everything changes. One problem becomes one page. One emotion becomes one wave. One hurt becomes one season. One mistake becomes one lesson. Nothing is as big as the mind makes it. When the mind forgets to zoom out, your pain is real. Your frustration is real. Your fear is real. But they are not the whole story. They are only one part of a much larger life. A story for you. A teacher once unraveled a large tapestry and asked his students to look closely at one thread. "What do you see?" he asked. The students said, "It looks messy. It looks chaotic. It looks wrong." Then the teacher told them to step back. "Now what do you see?" he asked. They gasped. The single thread that looked chaotic up close was part of a beautiful design. Something meaningful, balanced, and complete. The teacher said, "Your life is the same. When you stare too closely at one moment, it looks chaotic. When you step back, you see the design. This is the power of the bigger picture. When something upsets you, ask yourself gently, will this matter 5 minutes from now? 5 days from now? 5 months from now? 5 years from now?" Most things will fall away under this question. Not because they don't hurt, but because they were never meant to shape your whole life. You are allowed to feel, but you are not meant to be swallowed by moments. You are larger than anything that happens in a single day. Another story. A farmer lost one of his horses. The neighbors said, "What bad luck." But the farmer replied, "We shall see." A week later, the horse returned, bringing 2 wild horses with it. The neighbors said, "What good luck." The farmer replied, "We shall see." Later, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses and broke his leg. The neighbors said, "What terrible luck." The farmer replied, "We shall see." Soon after, soldiers came to the village to recruit young men for war. The farmer's son was spared because of his broken leg. The neighbors said, "What great luck." The farmer replied, "We shall see." The meaning is simple. Life is always bigger than the moment you are standing in. Nothing is final. Everything is unfolding. You cannot judge your life from one chapter. Step back. Let time show you the meaning. The bigger picture also reminds you that everyone around you is carrying invisible battles. The person who snapped at you may be grieving. The person who ignored you may be drowning in self-doubt. The person who sounded rude may be hurting inside. The person who disappointed you may be feeling lost. When you see the bigger picture, you shift from judgment to compassion, from reacting to understanding, from irritation to empathy. This does not excuse behavior, but it softens your heart and protects your peace. Because people act from their level of awareness, their level of pain, their level of understanding, not from your worth. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself quietly, what truly mattered today? What did I give too much power to? What will I carry into tomorrow? And what will I let go of? Reflection widens your view. It pulls you out of the moment and back into the truth. The truth that your life is much larger than any emotion you are feeling right now. The ultimate bigger picture in Buddhism is awakening. A life lived with clarity. A heart freed from unnecessary suffering. A mind anchored in wisdom. Not fear. Not winning every argument. Not proving you are right. Not controlling outcomes. Not reacting to everything. But becoming so steady inside that no outside noise can shake you. This is what it means to be unbothered. Not cold. Not distant. Not detached from life. But deeply connected to a place inside you that remains calm, even while the world shakes. And now, let us gather everything you have learned so far. You learn to guard your energy, to validate yourself from within, to respond, not react, to let go of the need to be understood, to master emotional detachment, to take responsibility for your inner world. And now, to see the bigger picture that brings your mind back to peace. These are not theories. They are daily practices. Small choices. Small pauses. Small breaths. Small shifts. But together, they form an unshakable foundation. They build a life where you are no longer pulled by every emotional wave. A life where your peace comes from inside you. Quiet. Steady. Strong. A peace the world cannot give you and cannot take away. This is the final step in becoming unbothered. A person who walks through life with clarity, with gentleness, with wisdom, with calm, no matter what comes. A person who rises, not by resisting the world, but by seeing beyond it. May you walk with this wisdom. May you live with this peace. May nothing disturb your inner stillness.